What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. Today, we're going to be discussing the next NBA stars that hit the trade block with Luka Doncic being traded from the Mavs. I mean, all bets are off now. Uh, you never really know what's going to happen. And as much as that came out of the blue, there's a lot of other guys that could be traded out of nowhere. So let's look at this Bleacher Report article. They've got, I think, 5 guys here. Let's go ahead and discuss it. I'll throw some other names in there that I think could potentially be on the market. But first off, Lamelo Ball, Charlotte. Now, with LaMelo, they really haven't done much. And, with that being said, they're kind of in no man's land. They kind of tried to make some questionable trades uh, to somewhat, switch up their team, but it really didn't do anything. And LaMelo has been there a while now. They're still just treading water. Could definitely see him being traded at some point and to maybe a contender. Next up, Trae Young, Atlanta. Now, he's been kind of floated for a long time now because in Atlanta, they haven't had success. They had like the 1 year where they kind of made a playoff run, but since then, they haven't. And they're kind of in a similar situation as Charlotte, is whereas like they have no reason to tank because the Spurs own their pick, but yet they traded DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs. So I really don't know what they're doing here. We'll see if they trade Trae Young in the offseason, but would not be shocked if he gets traded at some point or another. But he's really the only piece they've got right now that's very interesting. Next up, Giannis in Milwaukee. Man, they had that 1 year where they looked really good, and they really screwed this team up, I think, by bringing in Dame Lillard. As good as Dame is, he's just not a winner. And sometimes that does come into play here. You need a winner, and you need to bring in winners around Giannis. And then they basically exchange Holiday for Dame Lillard. And then this year, they exchange Middleton for Kyle Kuzma, which I don't think is any better than Middleton, if not worse, and definitely isn't a winner. So they've really screwed this team up. I don't know what the heck they're going to do here. With a couple more years of being stagnant, I think you got to get rid of him at some point because as good as Giannis is, you're just wasting him. Kevin Durant, Phoenix. Phoenix is in no man's land. They brought in Bill, Helm, and they've got Booker. It was thought it was going to be a good three trio, but it just hasn't worked out. And right now they have nowhere to go. They've got no assets. So you've got to trade Durant and kind of rack up some assets, I would think, because Bill has no trade value. So do you trade Booker as well? I don't know if they will, but wouldn't be shocked because apparently they were shopping him, this trade deadline. They were trying to get rid of Durant and they had him ready to go to Golden State. And then he said he didn't want to. So that ended up falling through. Last on here, we've got Joel Embiid. He's got the injury bug. It's never going to work out in Philly because as good as he is, when he is healthy, he's just never healthy. It's not consistent, and they've screwed up themselves because Paul George, they gave him a massive contract in the offseason. He is clearly not it anymore, if ever. I don't think he's really ever been much of a winner. But they kind of screwed that up. So do you get rid of Embiid? Because it's probably never going to work with him. He's an awesome player when he's healthy, but he's never healthy. He's 31 now? Is that what that said? He'll turn 31 in March. But yeah, he's just never healthy. So what could you get for him? I think somebody would go all in on him if you've got a contender that can take him and, not make him have to bust his butt every night. You might could barely kind of load manage him until you get to the playoffs and then use him. So I definitely think you could get some stuff put out feelers for Joel Embiid. Some names not on this list that I would throw out there. Zion. I think the Pelicans got to capitalize on Zion's stock while he still has any. Because if not, it's just going to be too late. The Mavs, I wouldn't be shocked here in a couple years if they're shopping Anthony Davis because I don't think that trade's going to work out. I wouldn't be shocked if Kyrie leaves this offseason and Anthony Davis is kind of in a similar spot where the Mavs aren't any good, so you got to get rid of him. I think the Celtics are good. If Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum ever have any issues, you could see one of them, probably Jaylen Brown, getting shipped out, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the Warriors will trade Steph Curry. I don't see that happening. So, yeah, this is a pretty good list here. But out of all 5 guys on this list, who do you think is the most realistic to be traded? And also, I want to know, Joel Embiid, who would you like to see him traded to? Because I wouldn't be shocked if they traded him at some point while he still has somewhat of some trade stock in him. But let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.